What's going on YouTube? Josh here checking in. We're obviously taking a look at the inside of my gym bag. We've got some new goodies. So the first one right over here, these are the Croc Lock. These are brand new. They're basically collars for the bar. You see them nicely zoomed in. They're basically made out of rubber. Okay, I'll show you each one kind of individually. You can see there's a kind of Velcro covering over here on the inside of it, which is really nice. I'm gonna move the bag out of the way. That way it's not focusing on that. Let's see if it'll focus. There you go. So you can see the inside of it is really kind of nicely grips the inside of the bar ideally, and because it's Velcro and it's rubber, it's really durable. So I got these off of EliteFTS.com. These are my first time using them, so I'm not comfortable making any kind of recommendations. Obviously, I haven't even touched them yet, but these are brand new edition. I'm going to be using these because I was having some issue with the standard clips where the weights were kind of sliding off. So that's the first thing. Now, the next thing is something I'm really excited about, and that is the push strength. Okay, so there it is in focus. Basically, this is brand new in the box. You can see here. Basically, it's a device that you wear that connects to your phone or other kind of device via Bluetooth, and it allows you to see the bar speed. So you guys will actually be seeing the unboxing of it right now. So I have not yet opened this. I actually had a previous one that I was kind of like testing out, but it was a manufacturer defect. So they sent me a brand new one, and I'm hoping that this one works out really well. I'm really excited to use it. As you can see here, basically it's a pretty simple device. It's really lightweight. So I'm gonna open it up for you guys. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Basically, you wear it on your forearm. I'll show you kind of what it would look like. Something like that. So you'll see there is basically right on my forearm. And basically that light over here, that turns on once it's connected to your phone, and there's a whole kind of setup where it'll go connected to your phone and all that stuff. Basically, the goal of this thing is to just measure your bar velocity, and I'm not going to really touch on it any more than that in this current video, just because I could spend a whole video series going over velocity-based training, but I'm going to be doing a full review of this in probably a few weeks, so stay posted. So finally onto the footage. Start off with some sumo deadlifts, and you can see that first one was a bit slow off the floor. All of these in general were feeling on the slower side, just primarily due to the fact that my previous squat workout, my groin was actually feeling kind of strained. So as a result of that, I've been kind of just taking it easy. I didn't really want to overdo it. I think I was probably being a little bit too cautious at first, and once I warmed up, I was feeling a little bit better here. Since I'm using the push strength, I decided to show some of the speeds. You notice that first rep, 0.14, 0.16. These are pretty slow. Obviously it sped up a little bit there, but overall most of the reps were under 0.2 meters per second. So anyway, I'm doing 455. The plan was to do 5 sets of 5, and unfortunately that just didn't happen. Basically, after my 4th set, I put the bar down. During the actual set I felt fine, but I really tweaked my back kind of in the area around the scapula. I'm not really sure how I managed to do that, but I just decided to call it after the 4th set because I didn't want to overdo it. So you can see here the speed's picking up a little bit. I'm kind of getting into my groove. I was being a little bit less cautious after that first set, and I'm pretty sure that the speed continues to kind of improve there. You'll see here I decided to video from the side because I don't normally do that. You'll notice at the start there is a little bit of upper back rounding. Part of that has to do simply with the fact that my mobility is not where it needs to be. Basically, ideally I would start with my hips a little bit lower, which would mean I would have the ability to just kind of straighten out my entire torso, but I don't really have the mobility for that, so starting with a rounded back is sort of my workaround. Keep in mind my back doesn't round further than that, so that's not really much of an issue. It more becomes an issue if you are basically rounding further, or if the thoracic rounding turns into lumbar rounding. So this is a 4th set. I can't really notice anything that would have tweaked my back aside from the fact that I'm fatigued and I was maybe yanking on the bar a little bit more, but maybe there's a little bit more thoracic rounding. It's really hard to tell. Honestly, the weights seem to be moving pretty okay, and I think based on the velocity data from the push strength, I think that would basically corroborate that. where the speed was actually pretty good, probably my best set. So basically everything for the most part is in the area of 0.2 plus, which was a lot better than that first set. So on to some squatting. Basically just doing some volume squatting, sets of 8. I believe this was 295. Doing all this beltless, of course, as you can see, which I was happy with overall. I feel like I'm definitely feeling much more comfortable bracing my core, and even when I'm in a kind of fatigue state after sumo deadlifting, etc., I feel like I'm doing pretty good with that, which will carry over, of course, to the belted squat. So you can see here with 295 pounds, you know, overall the velocity is pretty consistent. I'm not really getting too tired yet, and this is a different angle, so keep in mind the depth might look like it's a little bit short on some of them, and I think the reality is this camera angle is actually looking down a lot, so it's really just kind of a perception thing more so than I'm really cutting depth all that much. You'll notice that I actually bumped up the weight a little bit, threw 5 pounds on each side to make it 305, and you can see here on these last few reps that I am starting to slow down just a little bit. Not really getting terribly fatigued, but you know, you can tell that overall this set was a little bit slower, and that's basically what the data shows. So in the past one, basically most of them were above 0.5, 0.55. On that one, I started to slow down a bit. So now I'm starting to get, you know, kind of fatigued. This is my third set of 8 here, and what you'll notice is basically the first 5 reps go pretty well, and then the last 3 are just really slow. And what I realized, you know, I didn't really recognize that it was to that extent until I actually reviewed the data from the device, which is one of the really nice things about it. You know, you can subjectively say, yeah, it felt a little slower, you know, but then you kind of just chalk it up to fatigue or whatever you want to call it, as opposed to really, you know, being really thorough about it, especially when you have the subjective data to look at the numbers and say like, hey dude, you're really messing up here. So yeah, you can see that was obviously starting to grind there towards the end a little bit. I mean, not really grind, but starting to really slow down. So you'll see that the speed dropped off tremendously after those last 3 reps. And what I recognized is as I get more fatigued, basically, I rely a little bit too much on my stretch reflex. So basically, I kind of drop into the hole with not enough tension in my entire body, specifically my quads, because I am using a slightly narrower stance than I used to. And basically as a result of that, after I lose the stretch reflex, if I get fatigued and rely on it too much, I don't really have enough tension built up to really provide the force against the ground to push the bar up, right? So on this set, what I decided to do is basically try and maintain more tension throughout the entire portion of the lift. I mean, I'm still not accelerating super slowly on the way down. I'm still, you know, maintaining a good amount of speed, but I'm maintaining more tension throughout the entire lift, and overall, as a result, that was a way better set. That was my 4th set of 8, and you can see from the data that basically that was just a lot more consistent. So that's the video, guys. I realize it's running a little bit long. If you stayed tuned for the entire 8+ minutes of this video, I really appreciate it, and if not, I still appreciate it. Be sure to give it a like if you liked the video. If you're not subscribing, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Somebody should have told you I'm on one. Yeah.